All right, starting off with the Flames and Jets. So the Jets, obviously, Connor Hellebuck. Connor Hellebuck is a hell of a player. He could be a Vezina Trophy winner this year. But on the flip side, with the Flames, they have pretty shitty goaltending. I'm not even really sure who they would even play. Um, Riddick would be my guess because he's kind of been the guy who's starting recently. But Riddick compared to Hellebuck is just fucking night and day. Both teams last year did pretty shitty in the playoffs, so this will be a chance for one of these teams has to do better than last year because one of these teams has to fucking win this first series. A couple keys that I think are gonna be huge for the Flames is Johnny Gaudreau. If Johnny Hockey can do better, I think he had like 3 points. I think he had like 1 goal and 2 assists in 5 games. They need him to score a couple more goals. Um, you have other guys on that team that can score, obviously like Kachuk, um, but you're really gonna need more out of your guys. You can't really. You have good defense. You got guys like Giordano. You got guys like fucking Hamonic. So you have guys who can play good fucking defense. But it's that goaltending that's gonna be kind of rough on them. On the other side with the Jets, you don't have Big Buff anymore, so there's a lot of points gone and a lot of good defensive and on the ice type of enforcement that you kind of lose. You'll have Brian Little back, so what you lost this season out of points from Big Buff leaving and Brian Little leaving, you kind of got that back. So you'll be able to put in a lot of pucks on Calgary if you're playing your game right. Um, the Jets actually left off the season doing pretty fucking well, and Calgary was doing pretty well also. So we'll see how that goes. Um, and Calgary's got a pretty good penalty kill, but both teams can kind of put the puck in on the power play. So you got guys like Patrick Laine, who I expect to do better this year. You got like Mark Sheffley, who I think will still do great. Nicholas Ehlers, Nick Ponick, or is that Nate Ponick? I forget. Neil Ponick. I wasn't even right on either of those. Neil Ponick. So I think those are a couple guys. You have those superstars on that side. They're gonna have to put the puck in, um, and then with the other side, you Kachuk, Goudreau, Monahan. You guys, they're gonna have to be a lot better than they were last year across the board. Both teams offensively kind of need to step up a little bit. So yeah, again, I fucked up and I did a series out of 4. So I think I'm gonna go 3-1 Jets over the Flames. I would have made it gone 5, but honestly, I think the Jets goaltending is just gonna be too much, and it seems like the Flames can't really come through in punch time. So I think they'll go on and play the 1 seed, and the 1 seed will be the Avs. I'm actually not sure. I think it's reseeded every single time, so that's probably fucked up, but it really doesn't even matter. uh, Next, we got the Oilers Blackhawks. So the Oilers Blackhawks, it's gonna be tough for the Blackhawks to pull this one off. I mean, if you're being realistic about it, it's not even close. Um, Experience wise, obviously, you guys got guys like Kays and Tays, Duncan Keith, fucking Seabrook. Actually, I'm not even. Yeah, Seabrook's on the team. So you got those guys who are the fucking Stanley Cup champions a couple times over. Um, and then you got some younger guys like Nylander. Nylander is a really good fucking player, man. He's been doing some good shit. Um, Dylan Strome is actually looking really good. I think that's the line. I think it's Kane, Strome, and Nylander. So that's a fucking sick line. Jonathan says that's what they're gonna have to push on, really have to lean on, and then they have Corey Crawford in that. I don't think he hasn't been stellar, but he hasn't been bad. Like they could definitely have a better goaltender, but you kind of Crawford is what he is right now. It's not the worst case scenario. On the other side, the Oilers, without even having to say anything, you got Draisaitl and McDavid, and that's already like 3/4 of your fucking team. But then you got Ryan Nugent Hopkins, who did pretty well this year. Daniel Nurse, James Neal was a really fucking good pickup, man. He scored a hat trick against the Islanders, and that shit still fucking hurts, man. But you got some good like top guys, and then the depth I'm actually just like a little shaky on. I'm not really sure if what like their depth really looks like. And then personally, I really like Mike Smith and Koskinen. So that tandem is actually not like the worst thing in the fucking world. Um, if I was gonna go between one or the other, probably going Koskinen. They pretty much split games this entire season. Um, but we'll see. We'll see who they want to fucking put in that game one. Um, and then obviously the Oilers number one power play in the league. How could you not with those fucking guys? So that shit's pretty crazy. But then on the flip side, they also have a really good fucking penalty kill. So it's going to be tough overall for the Blackhawks to put the puck in the net. They ended the season not half bad. They were 500. Oilers were 6-4-3. Blackhawks were 6-6. So not the worst going in, but their power play is brutal. But their penalty kill is not half bad. So we'll see what they'll be able to do. But I really just feel like the Oilers superstars are just going to be ridiculous, and the Blackhawks depth looks like a little bit better, but it's like working with against like gods, and then you have like a bunch of knights, and the other side just like a bunch of knights and like some older gods, if that makes any sense at all. But that I'm going to clean sweep. I went 4-0 with this, but we'll give them 3-0 because it's best out of 5. Next, you got Vancouver, who I personally really like as a fucking team in general, man. Like I would move to Vancouver and become a fucking Canucks fan if anything were to ever happen to the Islanders. Um, the pickup of JT Miller was, I think, fantastic. I really like JT Miller. I'm not sure how much he's getting paid right now. I'm not sure how big that contract is. But when you got young guys like fucking Pedersen, Hughes, and Besser, you can kind of afford to pay guys like JT Miller. I mean, he is their leading point getter right now too. So that power play is crazy with them, with fucking Horvat too. Um, it's hard to not put the fucking puck in the net with those guys. That's some fucking scary shit there. Um, and I think they have fucking Tyler Toffoli too. I think Toffoli, and he didn't come from the Kings. He came from somewhere else. I forget where the fuck he came from. But if I'm not wrong, maybe I am wrong. They don't. But they'll have Louis Eriksson back. I think he came back. I think he was hurt and then he came back. But you come back for a couple games, you don't really play that great. But he should be healthy. But just like every other fucking team, everyone's gonna be fucking healthy. But I think that's a big plus for them. And then on the other side, someone who I didn't even like think was even like a hockey player is fucking Kevin Fiala. I had no idea that he was the leading point getter on the Wild. I was watching the highlights of them, and it was just like goal, 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 goal. I was like, oh, the fuck is this kid fucking Fiala, man? I was like, I had no idea. So you got Fiala, you got Ryan Suter, Eric Stahl, Zach Parise. So you got some older guys on the team, some younger guys. You got Zuccarello, who just got paid last year. Spurgeon, Marcus Foligno, I think, is going to be a key player. I think if he can put the puck in the net, that'll be really nice for this team. Matt Dumba should have a chip on his shoulder from racism and shit. So, maybe see him really fucking killing it on like a power play or some shit like that. But Vancouver, great power play. Wild, pretty good power play. Their penalty kills are nothing to fucking brag about. But I think the Canucks having just so much firepower and so many. I don't even. I would say Pedersen is a superstar. Besser is a star. JT Miller is a star. But I think this kid Pedersen can really be a fucking superstar. Actually, no. Tyler Toffoli is on the fucking Canucks. They traded for him at the end of the season. I forget where was he? Yeah, he was with LA. See, I fucking knew that shit. For some reason, I don't know. I just thought he wasn't. Anyway, though, I have to give this series to the Canucks. Although the only thing that I do kind of question is actually no, never mind. With the, I had no idea who their goaltender was. Markstrom, I had no idea who he was. And then I watched the game that they played against the Wild. I think it was either in December or January. And this guy was killing it. I was like, holy shit, who the fuck is this guy? So he was extremely impressive. I was like, what the fuck? And then you got Devin Dubnyk, who kind of has his up and downs. I think he had a pretty rocky season this year. And they've been playing this other guy, fucking Stalak. I don't fucking know. But with all that fucking said, with all these guys, I think if Brock Besser could go off, goal wise, he only had 16 goals this season in 57 games played. Not horrible. He was probably going to be a 20 goal scorer, but not like the greatest fucking, because you got guys on the team putting up over 20. So I was expecting him to be one of them by this point. So I think if he can play better, and then on the other side, I think Marcus Foligno, Matt Dumba are going to be players to watch out for. But with this, I got to give it a 3-1 to the Canucks. So right now we got the Jets over the Flames. I got the Oilers over the Blackhawks. And I think they're going to go and play Vegas. Or Vegas will be the number 4. And then Canucks over the Wild in 4 games. And then they'll go and play the Blues, number 2. I don't know if they're really playing, but whatever. And then the last fucking lineup, you got Nashville and the Coyotes. We'll start with the Coyotes. Goaltending wise, you got Antti Ranta and fucking Darcy Kumper. So both those guys have actually been pretty decent. Kumper has been the better one. I would ride with him because I don't even know how old Antti Ranta is right now. He's at 31. What the fuck? I thought he was older than that. Because he was with he was only with Chicago for 2 years. I thought he was there longer. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? But their 2 goaltenders, I don't think, are gonna be as good as Yaros and Rene. Even though technically their goals against averages lean more towards the Coyotes, I think that the Preds, Pekka Rinne, you can't really count him out just because he's had a bad season. And then UC Saros does have some promise. So while defense seems like it's a little bit better with this, and that's the only reason why fucking the Coyotes are even in this, because they really don't score, man. Like, the amount of points on this team is embarrassing. Their leading point getter in 70 games played has 45 points. Fucking Nick Schmaltz. I don't even know who the fuck that guy is, no offense. But, like, I know who Clayton Keller is, young guy, put the puck in the net. Phil Kessel has been dog shit compared to, like, things that Phil Kessel does. Alex Goligoski, Alvin Ekman Larson. So you got good defensemen. Soderberg has actually had a pretty decent year. I don't know who this is. Connor Garlard, something like that. No offense, Coyotes fans, but they just don't get a lot of love. Even though they do have some pretty nice players on their team. But then on the flip side, you got guys like fucking Philip Forsberg, Matt Duchene, Ryan Johansson, Nick Bonino. You got a lot of really good fucking goal scorers on this team. So, I don't really see how the Preds lose this. While the Yotes, I think, have a little bit better of like a defensive scheme, and that's really the main reason why they're in there. the Preds. At first, I was gonna take the Coyotes, and I was like, maybe they can do it. But now looking through this, the only way that happens is if Phil Kessel and Taylor Hall just start going off. If they start going off, then I'll take it. Um, but other than that, I have to give it to the Preds. Although I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna say it goes 5 games, and I got that 3-2 Preds over the Coyotes, and then I think the number 3 will be Dallas. So actually, I could do this right now. So it'd be Avs versus Jets, and then number 2 would be 2 would play the next lowest. Yeah. So then they play the Canucks. It'd be Blues versus Canucks, which I think that's a pretty fucking good series, man. And then you got Dallas versus Preds. I'd have to give that one to Dallas. Avs versus Jets would be pretty good too, but I see the Avs taking that. I think Vancouver would actually have a pretty good chance of taking over the Blues. I won't lie. And then you got Oilers versus Vegas, and I got Oilers every fucking, or Vegas versus Oilers, and I got Oilers every day of the fucking week on that one. Yeah, I think more than ever, um, if you were ending kind of hot, and if your goaltender comes out and does really fucking well, then I think you got a good chance of coming through and doing well this year in the playoffs. I think that's really all you need. I think the 5 game series is gonna help get these teams locked more into like a playoff mode compared to the you're playing for the seeds, because you're playing for the seeds, not like super serious, but getting like right into it and you're like playoff games, like excuse me, like this is it, like let's fucking go. But we'll see how that goes. Um, if I had to pick a player that I love in every series, um, Hellebuck and the Flames Jets. And then if I had to not pick McDavid or Draisaitl, in the Oilers Blackhawks, because that's just too easy. I think Tays plays a good game. Maybe Kane too. I think those two superstars are gonna have to be like, like we might be like 31, 32 years old, and Draisaitl McDavid might be younger than us, but like we ain't some fucking bitches. Like we still got some shit. Like we're fucking Stanley Cup champs. So I think there might be a bit of a chip on the shoulder there. And then Canucks Wild, I just love Pedersen, man. I love him, man. I would die, right? I would not die right now. I would greatly contemplate becoming a Canucks fan. I would not die to do that, though. If I died, I couldn't do that. Would be worth it. And then Preds Yotes. I think that fucking rests on Taylor Hall, man. I think if Taylor Hall can start going, um, I think that changes the entire fucking series. Because if you start putting the puck in the net, man, I feel like if once you start putting the puck in on the Preds, it's over. Like, it's over. Well, I can see them, scoring pretty well. I think that, you know, the Yotes have gotten this far by being enough defensively minded and keeping enough pucks out of their net that if they start scoring, that'd be huge. Kind of feel like the same way with I'm hooking on the fucking Islanders, but same thing with like the Hurricanes too. If you got like your couple guys like fucking for example like Barzal and Lee or Aho and fucking Sheshnikov, if you have those guys doing really well, who says if you have fucking Kessel and Hall, you can't go into like a second round, third round, like the fucking Islanders getting the second round, Canes getting into the fucking Eastern Conference Finals. So I see a little bit of similarities there, and then we'll see what they do. I would like the Yotes to make it, cause fuck the Preds, and I don't know. It'd be nice to see Arizona do a little bit better. Get the fans up. Get the fans up over there. All right. So I think that rounds it off pretty well. Um, so I'm thinking Avs versus Jets, Blues versus Vancouver, Dallas versus Preds, and Vegas versus Oilers. See if I'm right. If you haven't already checked out the Eastern Conference one, check out the Eastern Conference one, motherfuckers.